A friend sent a video earlier today, and the video was about a man who used to engage in witchcraft, and he spoke about sending demons towards people in an effort to form ungodly relationships, ungodly quote-unquote soul ties, to include spirits called succubus or incubus, aka spirit spouse, a spirit husband or spirit wife, quote-unquote. And when we wonder, how many people out there are struggling with quote-unquote spirit spouses, and they're wondering what they did, what kind of sin did they commit in order to make that happen, not knowing. And even sometimes they go through deliverance, or maybe they fast and pray, and it seems as if they can't get rid of the spirit. I know another recent message, I'm not sure if it's posted yet or if it's been publicly released, where I spoke about there are times when a person has been free of a spirit, and maybe that same spirit returns, or maybe another or others return in its place to make it seem as if the deliverance did not take effect, which kind of make it seem as if God has lost his power where he can't set people free. So the man spoke about him sending evil spirits, to include sexually perverse spirits, to attack and also attach themselves to human beings. Now that was wicked. But also part of him doing that was because people came to him. So there are times, and yes, ultimately, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against evil spirits. But their evil spirits are not doing things on their own volition. It's because they're being summoned. They're being contracted to do evil. So they're people. It's like you have been freed, but you have some individual who's obsessed with you, and the person keeps on. You know how the woman with issue of blood, she has spent like all of her resources trying to get healed, but no one could heal her but Jesus? There are people out there literally spending all their resources using workers of iniquity to try to use witchcraft, sorcery, to effect a relationship or to try to destroy another person's life. But kind of the woman with the issue of blood, everything she spent going to the doctors didn't work. One moment with Jesus, one touch, not just from the Lord, but of the Lord, healed her of everything. And likewise, there are people who are going to witch doctors, trying to get stuff done, but it's not going to get done because only the Lord could do it himself. And what they're trying to do, God is not in favor of it, so it's not going to come to pass. And they're literally spending their resources to include this life that we have on earth that is but a vapor. They're trying to pursue things that God doesn't want them to have, and they're trying to use backdoor methods. So yes, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but there's some people out there, they're doing evil works. And again, there are people out there who are struggling with spirits. And one of the things people may say, kind of like in John 9, verses 1 through 3, it reads, "And Jesus passed by. And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, Neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him." So the man hadn't sinned, and neither had his parents. And likewise, there are people out there, they're wondering what they did to open the door to the enemy. And may I put it out in another message, but in John 10, verse 10, the Lord spoke about a thief. He comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. So it's not necessarily that a person did something wrong. It's not necessarily that the person was sinful or opened the door to sin. In 2 Samuel 13, did Tamar try seducing Amnon, or is it Amnon who quote-unquote fell in love with her and then listened to the wicked advice of Jonadab, his cousin, and ended up raping her? So sometimes it's not because people sinned or invited something into their lives. It's because of the heart, the desires for another person. And it is that person who sinned. It is that person who is sinning. It is that person who has an open door for the enemy. And the enemy is using that person, and the person is using the enemy to try to come against other human beings. And people are struggling, wondering, how did I open the door to the enemy? But as I said in other messages, a thief doesn't look for an open door. A thief looks for an opportunity. So if you're wondering how you sinned to open the door, maybe you did, like David. He sinned and opened the door for judgment from the Lord upon his family. But then there are times people are thinking, well, because I did that is why this is happening. And it may not be the case. And also be careful about thinking that you're under God's judgment when you're not. But one thing that's going to happen is that any human being conjuring up devils and is trying to torment you, trying to pressure you into doing what he, she, or they want, they're going to have one difficult time explaining themselves to the Most High God why they try to play God in another person's life. So maybe you didn't sin. Maybe you have not been sinning. It is someone else sinning, and the open door is not through you. It is through that person. God bless you, and Jesus the Christ is Lord. Oh, to be frank, sometimes I don't like saying this. But if you're doing wicked, repent. But then many people have heard about repenting and just keep on in your wickedness. When they meet Jesus, they'll be without an excuse. If you're doing evil, repent. Repent. Hell is too horrible at this time of year and every other time of year. It is not worth it. Repent.